If you've been downtown Sylacauga, Alabama, and haven't noticed what's going on, you must be hiding under a marble. It's the 2023 Marble Fest going on in Sylacauga, Alabama through April 22nd. You can watch sculptors from all over the world create beautiful masterpieces out of Sylacauga's very own white marble. In case you have been under that marble, here's what's happened downtown this week at the 15th annual Magic of Marble Festival.
This is the 15th year that we've had the Marble Festival in Sylacauga. It's an outgrowth of a cultural exchange program that we had with Pietrasanta, Italy, and it's been one in which they furnish us a master sculptor each year, and we invite sculptors or people who are interested in sculpting, and the quarries here have been very supportive of us. So we furnish a marble, so they get to come here, they get a free piece of marble, they get the welcome mat rolled out, we furnish sculpting tables, we furnish the tents as they sculpt in, we get them meal tickets and introduce them to the community. But more importantly is that we give them an identity with marble and with sculpting that they can't get anywhere else in the U.S. And so we're just thrilled with that, and it's a whole lot of people, the quarries, the city of Sylacauga, especially the library, and now we have a marble gallery. And the whole idea is to make Sylacauga a destination point. For years it was known as the Marble City, and then that's kind of faded out, and we are bringing that back so that people will understand that there's more than just a place on the way to Auburn or to Tuscaloosa or to Gadsden, wherever. Sylacauga is a unique place and a great place to live, great schools, great churches, great people, and we're just using that as an advertising tool to say, hey, we are also one of the centers for art. In this case, it's artistic sculpting. We don't want to draw large crowds, but we want to draw interested crowds of people who are interested in the arts, preserving the arts, and becoming a part of it. So we've been doing it for 15 years, and we hope to continue for the next 15. This year we have a master sculptor who is a little more international than what we normally have. He's of Spanish descent, but he's been living in Pietrasanta for 20 years. He and his wife live there, and he has been doing work with the major corporations there in the artistic world as well as the marble world with the Carrara mines and what have you. Marco is his name, and he is just really one of the most competent people that we've been able to. He looks good on paper, we're going to find out how good he is in person. And so he'll come and he'll be sculpting, he'll be teaching, he'll be giving lectures, and the sculptors will get to exchange ideas with him to find out what's going on in the international art world, and especially ideas about preserving things and doing something that will be eternal almost. We have tours each year. They're very popular. Unfortunately, if you hadn't already signed up for the tours, you may not be able to do so because we have a waiting list. We have tours of the Emers quarries. We have the observation deck out there. The Emers people meet with us and talk with us, and then give them a guided tour through the plant. There's 2 days of that. And then the next week we have 2 days with Omnia, and they do the same thing there, and they roll out the welcome mat and show them all the technology that they're using, the construction mode, the whole 9 yards as it appeals to them, and that both of them are international companies. The Emers is the largest quarry operator in the world, and their largest quarry is here in Sylacauga, Alabama. And that is, and they had their international meeting here last year. They put up tents out at the observation point and brought in the caterers and had their international meeting here with people from all over the world coming in, and that's something that nothing else has happened like that. The closest thing to it was the Made of Cotton contest that they have here when the textile mills were booming, but we think it gives us a window on the world. It gives the world a window onto Sylacauga anyway. The Emers Corporation, the Omnia Corporation, and Sylacauga Marble, those are the three quarries. They came in and was a part of planning and doing and participating in the first thing. The city of Sylacauga has been absolutely a blessing. Without the support of the mayor and the city council, we wouldn't exist. And then within the city, the police department has really worked with us in getting our people ferried from Atlanta to Sylacauga and back. That's usually where they fly into. And then Reed Calfee and the street department, I would probably have a heart attack and fall over if I thought I had to operate without Reed and his crew, because they're a seasoned group and they get along well with the sculptors. They help us move the stone. They help us get ready to put up the tents or what have you. And then the tents are all local people, and we do work with them. We get gifts of meal tickets from many of the restaurants, and they feed them. The museum is doing a special luncheon for them, and then the Avondale Dogs group is having a spaghetti supper, especially that, and we have groups that's buying the tickets to have the sculptors to attend that spaghetti supper and meet the people who are helping us get dogs adopted and making Sylacauga a dog-friendly and a cat-friendly place. So we're thrilled with that. Well, we have a whole list of people that just are invaluable, is giving us financial support or great support. I know our printers are here, the people who do our brochures, Swin Communications. They stand helping us with the brochures and a lot of the educational things that we do. But I would say, and this is certainly a major part of the city, but the work that Tracy and the crew at the library do for us is just absolutely beyond belief. And that is one of the reasons we made all those pieces that are real popular and expensive will remain in the library. And the library does a great job of publicizing that, and they get groups all year long coming in just to look at the marble sculptures. And we set up a marble gallery. And then we had the other programs that are related to that, like the brown bag programs and the children's summer reading program, and all get to mesh with what we're doing through the Marble Festival.
It is day one here at the 15th annual Sylacauga Magic of Marble Festival held at Central Park right across from Bluebell Creameries. We are joined with Marble Festival Chairman Dr. Ted Spears. And Dr. Spears, I notice you have assistants and helpers out here that have these special colored vests, and there's plenty of signs. I see parking is maybe a little difficult, but not impossible. What are your thoughts on just how people come in to enter the park and who's there to welcome them and parking?
You know, we have had one or two people doing the greeting in the past years. But this year, with the Sylacauga Marble Company, gave us the yellow vest or orange vest to use to greet people, so they would know that these were legal people giving them right and good information. And we went around to all the stores and businesses and got pamphlets and menus and stuff like that for them to talk to the people, to hand them out, and then to answer any questions about sculpting or the things, or show them someone who could answer any question that they might have. It's worked out beautifully, and these greeters are just the best idea that we've come up with, and it's making Sylacauga look good because we're ready for visitors and we're ready to answer questions and we're ready to make them feel right at home.
How many sculptors are available here to be seen throughout the Marble Fest, which is April 11th through the 22nd?
You will see 35 different people, at least. We've got a waiting list for if anybody falls to the wayside on a permanent basis. But this is the most we've had at the beginning, and we think that it's really wonderful. And one of our sculptors came on. He will be here a week, and then he's teaching at Auburn University. He's taking a group of students to Milan for a month, so he'll miss the second session. But this is the kind of thing that he wanted to have his students enjoy, and he takes it back to the classroom at Auburn, and then they're making a special trip to Milan based on his participation in the Marble Festival in the past.
The main sculptor this year, visiting sculptor, I hope I get this name right, is Marco Augusto Dueñas, and he's from Spain. What are your thoughts in reviewing him and him being the main sculptor this year?
Well, he is born in Spain, he is Spanish, but he's been living in Pietrasanta for the past 20 years. He and his wife are very active in the art world there, and he works for 2 or 3 major sculpting organizations there, and he goes all over the world. And we've got a high school student who is working with us on his presentation on the 13th on Thursday, and she was just thrilled to be able to get to do that. And he feels better about it, although we would have had a good lecture and a good PowerPoint. Now we've got the language problem corrected, having a student from Sylacauga High School.
It's just really a community-wide effort, wouldn't you say?
I'd say it's definitely a community-wide effort. And I know that my daughter Tara is the one who found it. She got out, she talked to the people at the Mexican restaurant, and we found somebody there. And at that place, she said, well, I know somebody who's really good, is a senior at Sylacauga High School. And they made the connection, so Tara and her companion talked to the little girl and her mother and them, and so it's all set for the 13th, and any worries that we might have had are gone now.
Well, it's good to see that we have great weather out here today, so don't miss coming out to the 15th Annual Sylacauga Magical Marble Festival held at Central Park, April the 11th through the 22nd, right across from Bluebell Creameries. And thank you for joining us today, Dr. Ted. We're always glad to have you on. This is Robert Pearson Jr. reporting for WOIL and WOTM TV.
Sylacauga's 15th Annual Marble Festival is coming up April 11th through 22nd. And we had the chance to catch up with one of the most important participants in the festival. Meet Sylacauga's White Marble. No, we can't talk to Marble, but we did talk with Rob Allen, plant manager at Omnia, and he ought to know a little bit about marble. So Rob, what is it about this white marble from Sylacauga that's so special?
Specifically in Sylacauga, we have a very white and bright deposit. Of course, if you live in the area, we got the red clay. That can add a little yellow and a little red compared to other deposits throughout the world. We handle that here by washing the mud off before we grind it. But the Sylacauga marble is very well known for having a very fine grain, being a very nice white cream color. And in some cases, depending on where you are in the deposit, it can almost be a translucent if you cut it thin enough. So we mine marble out of the ground from a deposit between Sylacauga and Fayetteville. That marble comes out and it gets washed. It gets ground through a primary crushing system into large pieces, and then that moves into our processing plant. The stone gets tumbled together, turns into a much finer slurry. We pull the impurities out of it, and then we grind it even finer than that to get to our final product sizes. Those are based on application and use. So we're controlling the parameters of our final products to get bright white colors for our customers, as well as very controlled particle sizes for all of the different needs, whether you're making paper, making plastic, or you know, potentially making paint or another construction related thing, maybe wallboard.
Rob, tell us about the history of the Sylacauga plant known as Omnia.
Omnia has been here in Sylacauga, originally as Alabama Carbonates since 1992, and since 92 we've continued to expand, you know, with an original focus in the paper market, and now we've made really large strides in construction materials and polymers. We continue to grow out here, and we're really happy to be a major member of the Sylacauga community. We supply a wide variety of stuff in paper, construction, polymers, and a few other specialty products. So you'll see our products a lot in paints as a bright white pigment that makes the paint whiter, brighter, more opaque. The same thing goes with paper products. Our fine ground slurries get used in paper making to make sheets of copy paper whiter, brighter, more opaque, as well as the coatings that go in to make magazines.
Okay, so it's just not workers with picks and shovels digging up this marble out of the ground. You say there's science and engineering that plays a big part of this process?
Science that goes into it. Certainly we have a lot of science and engineering that's related to the way that we process it, the way that we control all of our equipment. And we've got a big stake in the area in seeing that people are interested as they're going through school and coming out of school to either be interested in the trades, maybe that's being a mechanic, being an electrician, or science and engineering. So whether maybe you're interested in microbiology, or you're interested in the chemical reactions in fine particles in a water solution, or you're interested in building stuff and mechanical engineering, project engineering, or chemical engineering. We actively see the business continuing to grow in this area, and we want to really do what we can to continue to support the interest in kids graduating, getting jobs in those areas, and being active in those fields of interest so that we can keep hiring people out here.
Well, there you go. An interview with Sylacauga's marble. No, but at least we learned a little bit about the famous product. Now come out to Central Park across from Bluebell Creameries in downtown Sylacauga and watch sculptors from all over the world sculpt some of the most beautiful objects out of this stuff from the ground in Sylacauga, Alabama. Sylacauga's world famous white marble.
This is day 2 of the 15th annual Sylacauga Magical Marble Festival held at Central Park right across from Bluebell Creameries. And we are joined with Glenn Dasher. Where are you from and how did you get started or inspired to sculpt?
I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, and as a small child, I used to go look at statuary in the basement of the Telfair Art Museum in Savannah, Georgia, and I just always liked to make stuff. And I taught for 30 years, sculpture for 30 years at the University of Alabama in Huntsville, and it's like the best life I could imagine. Then I worked with the State Arts Council and some state officials. We went to Italy in 2008 and to set this up, and I've enjoyed it as a participant ever since.
What piece are you working on this year? Do you have a name for it? Is it just the idea right now? Just please elaborate about your piece.
I tend to work sort of without plan, but this time a friend who is a very dear friend of mine asked me to do a flame sculpture for him for his tombstone. He's still, when he passes, for his ashes to be scattered. And so this is a little different this time, working with a specific plan in mind, but it's a flame anyway, or fire.
Okay. And as far as the tools you use, is it mostly pneumatic, electrical, just a mixture of everything? Do you prefer hand only?
No hand only. Pneumatic, electrical. We use a lot of. If you see all the dust and all the, the dust that's in the air, it's comes from the diamond bladed saws we use. They cut slots, and then you use a pneumatic hammer. It's like a small jackhammer, and use it to break away. So it's all about just breaking. The saws let you break big pieces, then the pneumatic chisels make you do smaller pieces, and eventually you end up using sandpaper. It's all about taking the biggest piece you can knock off, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller until you find what you want.
Well, thank you, Mr. Dasher, for joining us today here on day 2 of the 15th Annual Sylacauga Magic and Marble Festival. This is Robert Pearson Jr. reporting for WOIL and WOTM TV.
Good morning, I'm Tara Douglas, as my dad just said. I've had the opportunity to be here all 15 years for the Marble Festivals, and we have such a good time. We love to see the visitors come and tour the quarries. I'm so sorry you didn't get to go on the quarry tour this morning, but you have the unique opportunity to get to meet our visiting sculptor from Italy. And thank you to all the sculptors who come every year. You're such a big part of this festival, and we just really appreciate all you do and your willingness to share your skills and your artwork to everyone and your participation every year. And thank you for coming today to hear Marco. So we have Marco Augusto Dueñas. He is, as my dad said, he grew up in Spain, but he has been living in Italy, and he is our visiting master sculptor this year. And we have an interpreter. We have Jenny Velasquez. She's back there with Marco right now. She's a junior at Sylacauga High School, and she is an ambassador for the high school for the Chamber of Commerce. And so she's an impressive young lady that I just got to meet this week, and she's helped me some with Marco, and she's going to help with the question and answer part of Marco's presentation, because he and his wife Kate Finley, who is British, have put together a presentation, and she's narrating through most of it.
Buongiorno. Buongiorno. Good morning. Hola. Hoy por fin me entenderéis, después de tantos días con mi imposibilidad de hablar inglés, perdonadme, pero espero que hoy me conozcáis un poquito más.
So he's saying that today is the day where it finally comes that he'll be able to present, and hopefully y'all will be able to understand. So.
Bueno, y sin más dilación, empiezo con la presentación, y entre medias, el que quiera hacer una pregunta, lo que necesitéis, ningún problema.
He will be starting with his presentation. If anybody has any questions, you can ask, and then I will be telling it to him, and then he will tell me the answer, and I can tell it to you.
Fellow artists, it's an absolute pleasure for me to be with you here today, transmitting Marco's thoughts. I won't take too much of your time because I know you're very, very eager to get back to work. In a few minutes, we will discuss Marco's beginnings, the commission that fast-tracked everything, the workshops in Pietrasanta, his Vatican projects, and his rediscovery of himself and his works. Marco was raised by his grandparents in Córdoba, Spain. His talent was so obvious, one day his grandfather took him by the hand to one of the best artisans in town. His apprenticeship didn't last long, as commissions soon followed. As mentioned before, Marco was quickly recognized, and a local businessman with a passion for his city commissioned Marco to create and sculpt more than 50 monumental statues. With Pietrasanta on his radar, Marco first travelled to Carrara to locate a workshop, but his decision was quickly made to move to Pietrasanta, not only for the large gathering of international artists like Botero, Durai or Banji, but for the quality of artisans that were working from Pietrasanta's workshops. Within 7 years, and with the support of Pietrasanta's best artisans, Marco created and sculpted over 50 monumental statues, 3 meter high in white Carrara marble, including this relief of a final judgment 9 meters high by 7 meters wide.
Este es el taller donde yo trabajo en Pietrasanta.
That's where he works. He makes in his hometown in Italy.
Las esculturas que habéis visto antes están hechas completamente a la antigua usanza, pero hoy día, por fortuna, hay nuevas técnicas que nos ayudan.
So back then he used to use different materials, different sculptured materials to do his sculpting, but now that there is new materials, new tools that he uses.
Nos ayudan, no nos lo hacen.
It helps him, and that doesn't make it.
Originally, Pietrasanta's workshops were located in the centre of town. Although extremely romantic, with the future advancing technologies, it just wasn't realistic to support the artists anymore. So as you can see, the new studios, like this one, Franco Cervietti, serve all the artists' needs. The Cervietti brothers are considered to be one of the best studios in the world, working not only with the best artisans, but also with the most advanced technologies.
Como veis, esta es la ayuda del robot que nos hace ahora. Y esta es una escultura mía de mi última tirada.
So on the picture on the left, it was the last sculpture that he made by old tools. The one on the right, you can see that the robot is actually helping it.
Como veis, es un poco distinta a lo que es de comisión, de lo de encargo.
So as you can see, it's different from the one he made using tools to the one where now the robot helps.
No por menos, es peor o mejor, una y otra, son todas personales.
So for his personal, none of them are bad, but none of them are good.
Solo hay una evolución. Solo hay una evolución.
So there's only one like evolution.
In 2003, Marco was approached by a cardinal while working from one of the workshops in Pietrasanta. He requested he sculpt a statue of Saint Raffaella Maria. Soon after, Pope Benedict requested him to sculpt the statue of the founder of the Maronite Church, Saint Maron. Both of these statues started from blocks of 86,000 kilos each. When he finished, they were just over 28,000 kilos. Both of the statues are on the exterior walls of the Basilica of St. Peter's. They were both designed by Michelangelo, so it's quite an honor to be there. In 2020, he sculpted the relief of John Paul II in commemoration of 100 years since his birth.
So an artist has to look what he's going to do, not what's already done.
Sin dejar pasar, eso sí.
So without looking like towards his past.
It is no secret that Marco has worked for many years on commissions. For the past few years, he has been creating his own language, his own opinion. He wants to join two paths that have always been separated, the figurative and the abstraction. Every new piece opens a new world and a new facade. He clearly states he can only give his all with what he's able to express with his knowledge, discipline, and love.
Como veis, un artista creo que debe ser completo, creativo, tener la capacidad de hacer un buen retrato.
So an artist has to have compassion, has to have focus.
Y la capacidad de un gran momento según a veces incluso ser tú mismo y ser más cercano al sitio donde va puesta, como las esculturas del Vaticano.
And also have the compassion and also know like exactly not do work that other people have done, but also look for what you want to sculpture.
Porque el talento es importante.
Because the talent is important.
Pero es tan o más importante la técnica.
But what's most important is also technique.
No es el sitio viene a mí, sino a veces es tú el que tienes que ir al sitio y cambiar un poco a ti mismo y ser capaz de hacerlo con tu obra.
Sometimes it's not you having to go towards the past, it's you have to go find it.